Hello and welcome to the 132nd episode of the Gochuucast. And today, uh, I guess tomorrow, happy Thanksgiving to anyone with red, white, and blue in their blood. You know, the good old Americans, which is all the people on this podcast right now. No
Fact.
European
Let's go.
here.
Bless
Good old
America.
Freedom. I mean, not Freedom Day, but you know,
Yeah, it's definitely not.
every day is Freedom Day over here in America.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well,
Yeah, not that important. Like literally, like you could not make a Thanksgiving anime if you tried. I mean, you could. Uh, it'd be weird, but you could.
it would be very weird. Yeah.
You know, there. I am awaiting the turkey anime, but that's bowling, so that's different.
Wait. Okay. I remember you talking about that. When is that? When is
That's
that?
2025. We don't have like an exact date or anything.
Oh, right. This one. Yeah. Okay.
I'm actually so hyped for this one because like I was already gonna watch it anyway, like back when it got announced. But
Mhm.
now I'm like actually bowling every week, and so
Yeah.
now it's like, yeah, I gotta watch this shit.
Yeah. This is based.
It's it's either gonna be peak or dog shit. Like there's no in between.
Yeah.
But I'll
Yeah.
have fun with it regardless.
No. No. This looks based. I might watch this too. It's like actually like bowling is just like a random sport, but you know what? I respect it. I
It looks like
respect it.
the script writer has never done an anime before, so that's something.
Nice. Hey, you know what? First time for
Hey, you
everything,
never
right?
know. You never. Oh, yo, the director of some Gohan stuff. This should be interesting. He did the Glasses Girl anime, the giant cat. He's doing another Gohan's anime that's gonna be coming out. This guy, he's got some stuff on his resume. It should be interesting.
Oh my gosh.
I used to like make bowling interesting. You got to be like, I don't know. I mean, bowling is interesting. It's just to make an anime about it. I guess
Yeah.
you gotta bring in all the stops.
In my
Is it?
head, I'm thinking of like a camera that like follow like I think you could do some cool stuff with the animation, like with the ball spinning.
Honestly, like this is what Go Hands was built for. They're just like not on the
Yeah.
project though. Just the guy who directs some of their stuff is on it, so
Yeah. Maybe he'll bring some of that and
he'll bring some of
get
the
me more
Go Hands
comfortable.
energy to follow the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm excited for this too. Wait, 2025, but there's no okay, yeah, it's just
I
2020.
will be interested to see how, because like just going through some of the character stuff, like they talk about like ball weight and stuff like that. So obviously they'll have like some level of like not maybe not too in depth, but like they won't just be like, yeah, we're bowling, you know, let's just go and bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, I don't think a Thanksgiving anime would like yeah, it's just there's nothing. There's actually just nothing. It's literally, I mean, if you think about it, like, I mean, Thanksgiving is just one day, and it's just like you just eat
It also
dinner.
just
Like,
wouldn't make sense because
it's
Thanksgiving is. I mean, there are lots of countries that
American.
have like their versions of stuff like Thanksgiving, but yeah, it's inherently an American thing, at least
Yeah,
as we know it.
yeah.
Yes.
So it's
So
like,
I mean, it is physically like they would have to be like an animation studio paid to make a Thanksgiving anime in order to
mhm.
do that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right, that ain't happening. But
But Thanksgiving's about food. There are food anime, you know. Is
yeah,
Dungeon Meshi a Thanksgiving anime?
there's Food Wars. Yeah,
Food Wars and a Thanksgiving
not
anime.
really, but
For
you know,
the sake of
actually
argument,
surprising.
we will.
Yeah, it's actually surprising. I never finished Food Wars. Well, it's not surprising. I don't finish a lot of like I don't. I start a lot of anime, but then I don't finish. But like, I like cooking, and I like trying different kinds of foods, but I just never finished this. I just didn't. It didn't click. I don't know, but it's kind of surprising I never finished this. I don't know.
Stop watching food. Well, actually, no. You stop. You didn't watch the entire pastry isekai or whatever the fuck that was.
No, I did. I finished
Oh,
that
you
one.
did?
Yeah, he
Okay.
finished that.
Yeah, it
I
was terrible.
watched all of pastry. Did not finish Food Wars.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like,
Just you should watch Dungeon Meshi instead. I don't know. It's not an isekai. It's just well, I'm gonna say it's pastry, but like good.
yeah. I mean, heard good reviews. It's just like, yeah, okay.
it's food related. It's got the fantasy
Sure, yeah.
element. Yeah. I think you would like it as like a general thing anyway.
Okay.
But
Okay. All right. I guess I have one thing to talk about. I don't know. It's kind of depressing though.
Uh
um,
oh.
I
oh,
wasn't like depressing, but I finished Delico's Nursery, that one show that
Okay.
okay.
was like the first half started airing when like a few months ago, and then the second half just completed like literally today. Like I just watched the last episode today. It was like a show that like low key, not high key. It got worse as I watched it. Like initially, I was very interested in like the I don't know, the mystery and like conflict. Um like there were some like murders and just trying to find out what's going on. There's some mystery involved there, right? But then like as you learn more about it, it just leans so hard into like the vampire thing, and like I don't know. It just became like extremely just like uninteresting somehow. Like I think the reason I like initially liked it was like there was a premise where there were like murders and people were trying to figure out like what was going on. But then as I learned more, that mystery faded away and it just became like a really like uninteresting. Animation wasn't amazing or anything. Characters weren't great. They were just like nobles, like I don't know, aristocratic people, like aristocrats. Like it was just like it was just bland, and it just got like worse and worse because it was just like you just start to realize how like boring the show was. So yeah, I don't know. It was just like very depressing because like the
Disappointing.
first three episodes were like kind of interesting to me, and then eventually it got just like boring. And
Ba-
also, I don't like
basically,
care for vampires. Like it
kind
just
of like
doesn't like.
lost the plot for you.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and again, like I just don't like. I don't care for like vampires are not like an interesting like that interesting of like a fantasy element. I guess for me, like it's just not something I've
They
ever
are
been
pretty
interested in.
overdone, like throughout
Yeah,
time. They've been around for a wee while.
yeah. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say. It was just like I will say that like apparently some of the people who liked it, um, so it's weird. Like on any list, well, I mean, there's a note on here, but like there's like the manga which was called Trump, crazy name, but
Right.
like it was actually based off a stage play, right? Um, and the anime was based off the stage play. I think the manga is like actually mirrors the stage play directly, but and so apparently a lot of people liked it because there were like small references to the stage play. So if you'd seen the stage play, then like you would have gotten those references. So like people love their references. Oh my god, it referenced something like super obscure that I saw like 10 years ago or something. I don't know. So it was apparently that's why people liked it, or like that's one of the reasons people like really liked it based on what the reviews that I saw. Um, but obviously I didn't see the stage play, so I didn't get any of the references.
Yeah,
So
so you're kind of
yeah, it
like
was just like
missing a slice of the pie
yeah,
there. Because yeah, I'm looking at it.
apparently.
Delco's Nursery is a completely new work based on the Trump stage play that serves as a sequel to the Grand
Guignol.
Guignol, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck, stage play. So like it's an anime based on a stage play slash manga that is a sequel to another stage play.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah, it's
if you were following that entire thing, then sure, I guess maybe like you'd like it, but like going into it blind, I'm missing some percentage of that. However,
yeah,
however important those references are, I don't know. But the story, like independently, as I watched it, it was just kind of yeah, it just kind of got uninteresting, and there weren't enough like if the story's uninteresting, maybe like animation or I don't know characters. Sometimes like if there's a fun character to watch, you can kind of like I wouldn't say salvage, but like can kind of make it more enjoyable to watch. Um, but yeah, it was just like mediocre overall. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not the right audience. Who knows? Um, but I didn't like it. I don't regret watching it though, in the sense of like it was something new for me because it's like the setting. Um, you said like had a kind of like a historical feel to it because it was just like a bunch of rich aristocrats living in like big mansions and stuff like that. Like, there wasn't like much technology and stuff like that, so it was a different setting. And I guess the vampire theme was like, a little bit different from what I normally watch. So I don't regret it. It was something new. It was just I didn't like it. So yeah, I don't really have much else to say. It was just kind of disappointing, mediocre, blah. Yeah. So that was that was it. I completed a mid show.
No, we love completing mid
Fair
shows.
enough. We
Yeah.
do love completing mid
We
shows.
love our dog shit around here. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, see, it's not even like the pastry anime was like I could tell it was bad. This one was just like they tried too hard for it to be bad, you know? Like I don't know. Yeah, it was mid. So I'm sad
It'd
a
be
little
like
bit.
that sometimes.
Yeah. Um.
Yeah. I
But
guess.
go ahead.
I didn't really do anything. Shocker, but an interesting piece of news to talk about. So recently, there's been reports about Katakawa, which is a giant piece of the anime manga industry,
Hmm.
potentially being acquired by Sony. And if
Okay.
you know, Sony, let me try and look up everything that they have. But I know they had Funimation. Well, no, they had Yeah, they had Funimation. Then they bought Crunchyroll and they merged those two.
Right.
But basically, Sony just has a shitload of real estate already in like the anime manga space. Um, and if they buy Katakawa, that's like a huge percentage of basically, yeah, I don't know. It's just like one of those things where a big company is buying smaller company, and it's slowly but surely everything's consolidating into like one big. Like just a number of like mega corporations continue to buy up all the real estate in certain uh, what's it called? Certain sectors. I
Hmm.
find that very
Yeah.
uh, let's see, Kakawa Sony. I'll link this article and read a little bit.
Yeah. I was reading a couple. I didn't know. So Kadokawa is FromSoft's parent company,
Yeah,
I should.
Katakawa has like a lot of
I
stuff
mean,
under their
yeah.
belt
I would
besides just like
assume
anime
the
manga.
gaming part is a very small portion of it. I think probably,
I don't know
but
if it's I don't know exactly how much Katakawa has, but yeah, they are From Software's and people who don't know From Software is the Soul series, Elden Ring, shit like that.
Mhm.
But Katakawa does own them, so if they were obviously bought by Sony, Sony would then own FromSoft, which Sony already has their grubby little fingers on Bloodborne, which is notorious for being like underutilized and kind of like tossed to the side for no real reason, even though a lot of people like it. So a lot of people are not very enthusiastic about the potential of Katakawa being taken over by Sony. But the
Mhm.
interesting part here is that Katakawa has been the one that is like, it's not like Sony was like, all right, let's go ahead and just take up Katakawa. Uh, it was Katakawa was like, fuck, these other groups are trying to buy us right now, and that is not like
We want
preferable.
to be bought by you.
Yeah, so basically, apparently, like Microsoft, which is obviously U.S. based, Tencent, which is Chinese based, and Kakao, which I've never heard of. They're South Korea giant corporation, apparently though. They all have interest in Katakawa. Um, apparently, there's nothing like concrete that says like they're trying to fend off like a foreign company buying them, but apparently that's like what the idea is. Um, see, established in 1945, Katako is an anime powerhouse with a library of over 100,000 novels and comics. The company previously dismissed suggestions of an acquisition, but with its founding members gone and it being publicly listed, Katakawa doesn't seem interested in fighting off any offers going forward. So basically, they're kind of like out in the open, but they would greatly prefer to sell themselves to a Japanese company. Um, and so Sony, I guess, is like probably one of the few that could actually like make a purchase of that size, considering Kadokawa was worth like billions.
Mhm.
Apparently Sony has not been uninterested. Let's see. Kadokawa and Sony have been going back and forth for a number of years, with the former wanting Sony to make a full purchase, whereas Sony was only interested in making investments in the anime and video game sector of things. So basically, Kadokawa was like, please just purchase literally everything, and Sony's like, we want your anime and your games. I don't know about everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, just an interesting thing that could happen, and I'm just wondering what it might mean for the future of those industries in the event that it does. Anime in particular, because video games have plenty of players. Indie games, at the end of the day, will always be there. But with like anime and manga and shit like that, like there's no indie scene particularly. There kind of is, I guess, but not to the same extent as like a video game.
Yeah, I think it's weird because like sometimes you'll hear about this news about like companies acquiring other companies. Which I mean, it is true that they gain control of like a good portion or of that company, but it's like, um, I don't know. A lot of times it often like doesn't do as much as one might think. Like, I don't think it's gonna like. I mean, knock on wood, willing to be proven wrong, but I don't think it'll like significantly impact like what Kadokawa like produces and is involved with. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being like naive, but like I feel like in a lot of cases when it comes to like company acquisition, it just doesn't have as much of an impact as like a lot of people think. But I don't know. I could be naive. I could be proven
It
wrong.
depends generally on what they do with staffing. Is generally what it is. A lot of
Yeah.
times for company acquisition, they'll just keep the current staff.
Yeah.
Or like the majority of the current staff, in which case it really doesn't make a difference. It's only when it's like getting rid of staff, or like entirely changing things, that it really has any type of impact.
Yeah. And to be fair, it could also be beneficial in a lot of cases, right? Obviously, but like,
Mhm.
having the resources, having like additional resources available that Sony might be able to provide, like occasionally that does happen, right? Where like you get acquired by a bigger company and it's like it is beneficial. Like, um, and I think I forgot where I read it. I just read it in like one of the articles, but I'm pretty sure like Sony already had ownership of like 2% of Kadokawa or something already. So it's like,
It's
that's
like
obviously
an investment stake though, as opposed to
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
full
I
control.
mean, acquiring company, it's also like purchasing the majority of their shares and stuff like that. But um, yeah, I mean, as long as the acquisition was friendly, I think that again, it could like also be beneficial for Kadokawa. So I don't know, like, yeah, it's hard to say.
Obviously, there's reasons it could be there's reasons it can
Yeah,
be both hostile and beneficial. It's just a matter of like
mhm,
which happens, and I think that's what's
yeah,
scary. Like,
yeah, yeah,
there's a world where FromSoft gets $10 bajillion to make games, and that'd be awesome. But there's also a world where like Sony really constricts their process and really fucks up future releases. Um, it's it depends on like how much they put their paws into things, or if they just let shit run.
mhm, yeah. Um, yeah, that is interesting. Um, I was just like looking it up on Twitter. Um, do you guys ever get those like in sports or like there's like I think it's NBA or NFL Centel or something like that. It's like the fake
Yes, yes,
news.
of course.
I keep getting those for
Did you get
anime.
sent held?
You're getting
No,
are
I
you
get
getting like anime news and farts or whatever the fuck it
yes,
is?
that's the account, and
I muted
there's
that
another
account,
account.
so I don't know what the other account is, but I muted the anime news one.
Yeah, I was like, I saw one that was like absolutely insane, and I had to like double check. Like, of course, it sounds ridiculous, but it's like also anime, so this wasn't the one I saw. There was another one, but there was like there's just there's just some ridiculous ones that I saw. Um, but
Yeah, no,
yeah, I
I
keep
have I
getting
have
these on Twitter now.
the real version of that account, or not blocked, muted. I don't block people, but I made sure to very quickly mute any news and fart.
Wait, what's the real account? Like the actual one?
It's like anime. Oh, let me just go into my muted and I can get the account. But it's very basic. It's very close to the same thing. It's like anime news and facts. I think is what it is.
Oh, okay.
It's like I think on YouTube they do like cut content stuff and anime news shit like that. But on Twitter they're like, you know, Twitter Blue got a engagement bait or whatever the fuck, and I'm like, okay, man, goodbye. I can only have so many engagement horror like just baiting on my fucking timeline at one point
Yeah.
or one time. Let's see. Privacy safety, mute and block, muted accounts. Yeah, there's anime news and farts. Yeah, I muted them a long time ago, I feel like. Actually don't see them on here. Oh, there they are. Yeah, anime news and facts. Apparently they have anime news and facts too for other things,
Oh,
but I
great.
don't.
Amazing.
I've never seen that one on my timeline. I hope that continues, but yeah, no, I just have them muted.
Yeah, there's this one, and then there's another one that I saw a few days ago. I don't remember what account it was, but now apparently that's on. Thank you algorithm. But yeah, that's showing up on my Twitter feed. So I can't wait to get baited by something and probably get excited about it. But yeah,
I keep getting baited by Daniel.
Why is
Not
that?
actually, but because you keep posting, we can talk about this. You keep posting the pre-con stuff, and so now I'm like, which is real. It's not actually bait, but I'm like, what are they
Oh
gonna
yeah,
do?
the
Because I want it to be Act 2 content.
yeah. So
But
in
then it's like
for context, Princess Connect has some leaks going
some leaks
around.
slash rumors that
Apparently, a
some
new anime project is confirmed. Well, not con- well through leaks. There is a new anime project in production. Um, we will see what that is eventually. I guess could be season 3, could be movie, could be OVA. Who knows? But there's
yeah.
an anime project of some form for Princess Connect that will happen.
I want it to be Act 2 of the game content. Or at least like it's if it's one core, let's say it's an anime or a movie, it can't cover all of Act 2. But I want to see Sheffy in the anime. That's where we're at.
Yeah. Side games I feel like is starting to. Well, I feel like they're moving more into the not that they haven't been in the anime space or whatever, but
They've been, but they're more aggressive is not quite the word I want to use, but like kind of.
they're definitely doing more lately. Because if we go back to like their history, I'm gonna ignore the Blade Runner anime. I don't know what the fuck that is. The one episode ONA or some shit. But they started out. They had Uma Musume. Obviously, Uma Musume fucking prints money. Um, they
Recon
do
prints money too.
Gotcha's print money, but Uma Musume is like
Gotcha's
another
keep
beast.
printing money.
I'm pretty sure. Um,
Yeah, Uma Musume definitely does more.
but they also have like Mysteria friends from like Bahamut or whatever the fuck game that's from. Uh, but then they did Precon, then Precon got a second season, and then they did an Idolmaster apparently. Okay, that's the one
Yes.
that stole Mushoku's director from season 1. But then they started spamming Uma Musume, but now it looks like they're kind of branching out a little bit out of their like game sector. So they're doing more Uma Musume in 2025, but something that just got announced for summer. Probably put this on my planning actually. The summer Hikaru died is something they're planning to do. The key visual for it goes pretty hard. I can't lie. I have no idea what this is about.
See this
Um, but
on Netflix. Let's go. Okay.
oh yeah, it's gonna be streaming like worldwide on Netflix or some shit. But yeah, so it seems like they're kind of diving more into It's more general anime, I suppose. Which is cool because Cygames
The
Pictures
games
doesn't
has
fuck around.
money,
Yeah, they got they
and
got they got that Uma Musume money to pour into this shit, dude. Like they can do
Jellyfish can't
whatever.
swim in the night, bro.
I love to think that the money I put into Princess Connect went towards the anime and not the game. That's my head
I choose to
canon.
believe they pocketed more of it than Crunchyroll did, which is probably not the case. I miss the game.
Very
I really
optimistic.
do. I very much miss the game. They're also doing an anime called Apocalypse Hotel. I think it's gonna be a movie. If I'm no, it's gonna be an original anime. It's called Apocalypse Hotel. Don't really have a lot of information on it. Thought I had that on my planning already, but I did not.
Interesting.
Yeah, the Summer Hikari dive looks cool. Actually,
I don't know
yeah.
why this makes me think of the song Hotel California. I mean Hotel, obviously, but
Yes,
anyway.
it'll be interesting to see them branch out more because they have a very talented staff.
Well,
As
and that's
seen
like,
from Uma
yeah,
Musume and Precon, Idolmaster, etc.
that's also why I'm like, just continuing the Precon story would be fun because I know that they can pop off with it. I don't know necessarily how successful the Precon anime is.
I can't imagine it's wholly unsuccessful. Probably not like a
Yeah,
money printer, but if it like diverts, if it, you think about this, if the Precon anime they make it and it gets them like 1,000 whales, like you're
that
probably
is true.
that is
Yeah.
like it just gets you more whales on your game. Like you probably are chilling for some time, you know. Like it'll make its investment back eventually.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
it
that
just
is
depends on
true.
how
With
much they
Gacha
put into
anime,
the
it's
anime.
not about how many people like the anime. It's about how many people play the game after having watched the anime.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah. But I guess it would just depend on how much they put into the anime, right? Because it's like, well, I don't know. Whales are crazy. I'm being so like, I underestimate them.
You definitely underestimate the capacity
Yeah.
of whales.
It's like I'm thinking how much goes into an anime. Yeah, the production, voice actors,
I feel targeted. Not actually,
I
but
yeah, but
um,
it's like,
we don't need to talk about the amount of money that I
no, I
have
didn't say any amount.
spent.
I'm just
No, I
saying from
know,
their
but
perspective.
you're saying this, and
Okay, sorry.
I'm like,
Sorry to bring up some
uh,
memories.
it's just one of those things where it's like I think of how much I've spent, and I think of how many people in various games have been like equivalent level to me with the amount I spent, and I'm like, whales are pretty damn strong. That's all I'll say on that. There's because think about it, right? So let's say someone on launch spends $1,000 to get basically every launch unit, right?
Yeah,
Now let's say 15 people in the thousands that download that game do that. That's 15 grand
yep,
just for the launch. That's not counting new banners. That's, you know what I mean?
yeah. It is a lot. It can be. Yeah,
And those are generally, I think, low estimates. I'd say like a dozen to 2 dozen is the amount of like crazy spenders those games get.
yeah,
So like something like Precon, for example. But those are also people that are willing to spend, a spark worth of money once a month or whenever
yeah,
they have a banner that they can't get for free. So it's like every time one of those 15 sparks, it's like plus $400. Banners are coming out every 2 weeks. You know, that's just talking about like the like the whales who are like collect everything.
right. I
It depends
assume
on the
like
game too. Precon was decently free to play friendly.
I'd
I
say
think
it
I've
is pretty
seen,
like I went free to play for a very long time, and I didn't
and you
spend that
could be
much even when I
competitive.
did. You
Yeah.
know, now part of it was I was very lucky at some certain points, like throughout my like the clan would always be like, "How the fuck is your account still alive?" I would always teeter the edge with how many like gems I had as a free to play. Like I was risking it a lot. For
Hmm.
units that like some free to plays, like I think Lace for example, like he was stocking up his shit, and I'm like,
He was
fuck it, dude,
planned. He
I'm
was
gonna use him.
stalking.
Yeah, he was
He
stocking his
wouldn't
stuff.
pull. He wouldn't pull for stuff like Halloween Misaki.
Yeah, I
You know,
did pull for Halloween Messiah, and I regret that. That actually like put my account into like such a dangerous position as a free to play, but I survived. I survived that period.
there's clips on YouTube of me pulling for Halloween Misaki and spending a large amount of money.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
Are
But
there I assume there's like like I don't know if you call them collabs, but like when the anime was releasing, were there like special promotions, like or
the
when the
game
anime was going on?
itself, I know has a ReZero collaboration. I think that actually just came back, like a summer ReZero thing. And then it
Hmm.
also had like Idolmaster. So there's like collabs in the game. Um,
Sure.
so yeah, I mean, all right. So I just looked up how much it costs to like make a season of an anime. Now, obviously, these things can fluctuate heavily depending on
Yeah.
like factors, but basically, you're in like the low millions. Like, let's say anywhere between like 1 to 3 million for like for an anime. Precon makes like almost 2 million a month, if not that. So basically, it pays for itself if you think about it. Like, you make a season
Yeah.
of Princess Connect, you bring more whales to boost your revenue for a little bit.
And it's already such like a just not that expensive in the grand scheme. Like it is obviously expensive,
Yeah, like
but it's
the
like
marketing, like your game will pay for what you did. Like the anime is a giant marketing thing. Like, you know, your game pays for that. And like you're already marketing anyway for the game. So this is basically just a marketing expense. A very, very hefty marketing expense, but it's like it's an investment. It's a very large investment for the
Mhm.
you know, down the road. So if you have like a really strong anime season, like I imagine like season 1 probably brought some players, but season 2 is like really well done. Like I imagine it was successful enough for them to be like, for down the road, like, yeah, well, you know, let's do another one of these. Let's just inject more
more
players into
players.
this game.
Well, and that's why I say like Act 2 of the Precon game story is really good. So to me it's like make Act 2 since there's no global game anymore, right? So I have to find translations to do like read Act 2 and Act 3 of the story. I'm
Right.
like just animate Act 2 now. Since like I will not be able to experience the story easily otherwise. So
Yes.
for me it would
Part
be
of the reason
nice.
I didn't move over to JP, it's like, you know, I like the game as like a general thing, but also I'd like to understand what I'm doing rather than just like memorizing what buttons do what, basically.
Is there no like patch or anything that you can do to get it to translate? Or
There
There's
are
stuff, but like,
patches,
you
but
know,
it's hard interacting with various games. I don't think Precon's one that has issues with like patches, but you never know what's gonna just make them be like, yeah, this account is not legit, get banned, or stuff like that. And I
oh
don't
yeah,
think Precon's one that has an issue with that, but the patches and stuff like that are fairly new and obviously unofficial. So it's like anytime you try to do something like that, there is some form of risk.
right. Okay, that's fair.
Also, I just like having the game on my phone sometimes. Like when you're using a pad, like chance you're using like BlueStacks or
Oh
some shit like
yeah,
an emulator. I just like having the game. Like I used the emulator for a little bit with clan battles, but like as the game got like a little bit less competitive, like I got a fucking auto clicker on my phone. I'm like, fuck it, dude. I am not getting on my computer for clan battle right now, and so I would just do it on my phone, the fastest thumb in the west for fucking spamming shit to get the frame
I love
perfect.
auto clickers.
Yeah. Whether or not auto clickers are cheating is another matter, but I think you know everyone can very easily get an auto clicker, so it doesn't really matter. You're
There's
just
like certain things
optimizing the
that I
game.
yeah, there are certain things that I feel like companies like that know to like, yeah, it's technically against the rules, but so for example, FGO has a app called FGA that you can download, and it's essentially just a automation system. So you pre-code it to do the movements that you want to do, and so that way you don't have to do everything manually, because Fate FGO does not have a skip function or anything like that.
Mhm.
Everything you do, you have to do straight up. So this is kind of the workaround that a lot of people have, and it's obviously very against like the TOS
Yeah.
to have a program that literally just does the battles for you.
Yeah. Sure.
And you just tell it ahead of time, like, oh yeah, do these skills in this order. You click the wave, you tell how many times you want it to do it. Like during big lottery events and everything like that, people will just it myself included at times will just grab my phone or computer or whatever I'm running it on, get the program set up, and just be like, do it 1,000 times and just leave it running all day.
Yeah.
Right. But I think they also understand that without people having access to that, a lot of people would both not play the game and not spend nearly as much money. And since FGO isn't a player versus player game, there's no real like advantage granted, right? There's no PvP system in FGO, so
It's just it's just a speed or efficiency
yeah.
thing. I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
So they've pretty much, it's definitely a program that shouldn't be allowed, kind of similar to how I feel like auto clickers are with other games, like Precon, but they're also like, it would be bad for them to ban accounts for it, because they would lose such a
They would
large
lose a lot.
percentage
Yeah.
of the
That makes
player
sense.
base. Auto
Yeah.
Yeah.
clickers in Precon, I think it was more of like how and where it's being used, but it's kind of similarly, since you couldn't frame perfect activate skills in PvP, since it was all auto in PvP, there's still not like a advantage by using
Yeah, like
stuff
there's
like that, really.
clan battle stuff, but like literally everyone in clan battle is basically using the same timelines anyway for the most part, besides like personal renditions of them. So it's like, you know, if you make those, like go ahead and use the auto clicker if you're gonna fucking make a timeline for that precon shit got real serious, dude. Those spreadsheets were something else, but you know.
There's also a big difference between like using an auto clicker for a spam, which is
Yeah.
what most people would use it for in precon, and then like if you had a program that detected like the frame to click Christina's UB after the kick or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Like the
there's
ladder
if it
there
did everything
would,
for you, that'd be pretty lame.
yeah, the ladder there is closer to what like the FGO is, but in a competitive setting like CB, I think it would have to be banned. Whereas the former is just everyone knows how to spam click. Like it's not really a huge
Yeah,
difference
it
in
just takes like a
advantage.
little bit of RNG out of the already like pretty like devastating RNG effects of the precon runs. Not even RNG really, just like chance of frame chance, I guess would be the way of putting it.
Yeah, like you can definitely on a spam click you could miss frames, but
Like you're going to miss frames. Like it's literally just
yes,
all luck at that point. I mean it's already partially luck. Just trying to take as much luck out of that game as you can.
it's funny because I think like luck was probably one of the worst parts of that game, which is why that matters so much, right?
Yeah.
Fucking crits.
And they like slowly got rid of luck over time, but like, you know, we were still in the early phase of the game, so we had we had the bad luck.
Yeah, like now on JP, it's like much more friendly to just people wanting to like monkey level up stuff and like maxer units and stuff like that.
That was always the
Whereas
worst shit. It's like, oh, I accidentally upgraded my right hand gear 3 times instead of 2. Looks like I can't compete in clan battle this
Yeah.
this month.
Looks like I'm kicked out of the clan, guys.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes like you would need to brick shit for certain units, which was
Well, and that's what would end up being funny is so me being in a clan that was always pushing for like top 1 or top 3 or top 5. It was like certain people would have to like sacrifice their certain units or parts of their account for like a single part because for that part it was optimal.
yeah,
And
there
so
are
what would
plenty
happen
of
is
units
a
that did that.
lot of what would happen would be a lot of the top clans would have like dead accounts from people who maybe quit the game
A
or
worthy
just
sacrifice.
alt accounts, and so they would like have a couple spots in the clan for like the dead accounts or like the alt accounts, and then if some account needed to be ruined for that CV, they would just sacrifice one of those accounts.
Yeah. Anytime there's like, all right, guys, we need someone to break a unit, I just break a unit, dude. I don't give a fuck, man. Because like one of the main reasons I guess people don't want to brick stuff, one for future CBs, but also for like PVE content, like having the correct units is also nice.
Yeah,
I,
but you weren't like a PvP.
I definitely did not
Or
give a
like
fuck about
big.
PvP. I would always,
Yeah.
for PvP, I'd be like, oh, the arena reset, let me make my push for 1 to get all my gems, and then I'll never touch PvP ever again. And then that's how that went. PvE, you can just brute force in the amount of time you get. So, like, even if I don't have the perfect setup for, like, getting through the tower or whatever the fuck in, like, 20 minutes, I'll get through there in 30 minutes.
You'll get there,
It's
yeah.
not... Yeah, the only downside, like, there's, like, the special PvE battles you can do, which I had to workshop maybe sometimes a bit more than I would have wanted. But otherwise, like, it's not that big of a deal. So I just didn't give a fuck about breaking my units. Like, if I have to equip the right-hand middle piece, I'll do it for the team. I'll do it. I'll equip it all. I'll put it all the way to max level.
Yeah, Gacha gets serious.
Gacha get, like, dude, I mean,
Sacrificing their accounts.
these spreadsheets are, like, this is what peak...
I mean,
like,
you've seen the stuff that I would do. Like, I'd schedule out, like, all fucking 90 hits a day for the whole 5 days.
Yeah.
And be like, all right, these are the people who need to be hitting this boss at this time.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I would try and do it, at least generally, by people's time zones. So I'd, like, somewhat try to keep in mind who is awake when.
So is it optimal to have, like, one person in, like, roughly not every time zone, but you know what I mean, like, around...
Well,
like,
yes, but what was also optimal was me not sleeping for 5 days and sitting in there and making sure everyone was doing things correct.
No, let me find a spreadsheet I can just send
bro,
you.
I'm scared.
This is like peak, like, neurodivergence. Like, you had to have a mental illness
The
to play this
time,
game.
yeah, the time that we got rank 1, I think me and Toshi as the 2 leads for that, probably over a 5-day period, were actively working about 100 hours.
Alright,
And the
so
one time we actually got a decent night's sleep, we came back and they had stopped because they fucked everything up.
this is from Clan Battle 22. This is back when we were still
I'm
trying.
scared, but I'm gonna open it.
Yeah, so you're gonna open it, and
This is long past my retirement.
Yeah, so I think you'll be on the icons page first. Go all the way over at the bottom. Just go to, like, C5. And you'll...
C5.
Yeah, C5.
This is crazy.
Yeah, no, this is, like... This is insane stuff. Why is there...
Bro,
Why
I'm
is...
still
I was
scrolling,
gonna say,
what the
why are
heck?
there people on this? But obviously it's you two.
But it's us,
I
yeah.
was like, who's on this fucking tab? Who's doing Clan Battle 22 right now?
Descriptions are insane.
Yeah,
Auto will
no,
hit the one
and
frame before silence. Bro, what?
yeah, and this would be for one run. And if you fucked it up,
If you
you had
fucked
to
it up,
pause and wait for hours to get someone to save you.
Or you had to pause and hope that there was, like, a plan B for this specific run or something
Yeah.
like that.
So you would also probably practice. So for me, And Daniel was a coordinator at one point for a little bit too.
Yeah.
But for coordinators, we would just be practicing this shit, getting ready while sending people in. Generally in Sky, we let most people do their own hits. But obviously, when you have to get 90 hits in a day in a specific order, sometimes we gotta do the hits ourselves. And so, like, for a coordinator, you're probably doing this 10 to 15 times a day, at least, like, some of these,
Yes,
in
that's a
addition
lot.
to your own hits.
It is
It
a
was a
lot.
freaking full-time job.
Yeah,
Times
I
5
mean, literally
days
for 5 days of the month, it is a full-time job.
is a full-time job. And for the rest of the month, it's like a part-time job. Like, generally, we're getting stuff ready for the next one most of the rest of the month, but we're not spending that type of time, right?
yeah.
I'm just like getting PTSD looking at this shit, dude. Like, I think it is after 22 is when we went to like. Well, actually, I don't remember. I think at that point our clan was like, "Fuck it, dude. We're just gonna full auto everything. Well, not everything, but like it was much more
Every clan
accepted
goes
to
through the
just full
same
auto.
arc.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, when I soft retired after like CV7 or
Oft
CV
retired.
soft retired after like CV7, and we did our full auto clan then. That was fun, but we also like kind of sweat for the full auto clan then, because we're like, how far can we peak with only auto if we did like everything else really optimally? And so we did, and I think we got 36th, which at the time was pretty good. I
Yeah.
mean, it was like a lot of clans were still kind of figuring out the game, I think, around that time period. And there's obviously a limit on units, limit on how much people are willing to spend. I mean, we had a bunch of retired accounts and people, so it's like the accounts we had were kind of cracked.
Yeah.
But it was still it was fun, like a fun experiment. And then I went around, did some stuff with a few other clans before eventually I was like, yeah, I don't feel like playing this game anymore. Partially because I had a really good account and was like, I don't want to keep having to upkeep this account.
Yeah. I'm trying to go
And I
back and
know if I was like, I know if I keep playing the game, I'm gonna spend money on more stuff because I just have an addiction to collecting things.
just
That's
going back and seeing like I don't remember which one we got top 10 in. I think it was CB6 because I see I'm a coordinator here.
It should be 6
I think it was 6. I went
because
back to
6
where it
was
was the
the
last
one.
UE bet before we got to we did the combined and became Aurora and then fell off.
Yes, because 6 was the one that I did by myself basically, and then kind of rage quit afterwards. Because 5 was the rank 1. 5 was when Sky got rank 1, and then 6 we were like, okay guys, we got our rank 1, we're just gonna chill. But then everyone went on freaking vacation, and so we were like, we still wanted to get rank 10 because there's max rewards, but I was the only coordinator who was available for like that entire time period.
Yeah.
So it fell on me to carry the team there.
Yeah, I'm just like looking
Not
here.
by
Like
myself, but
I was a coordinator. Like my time frame was like 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. Like I would literally like get off work like 5 to 1, go home,
yes,
like exist for a little bit, and then all right,
exist is
time for
crazy.
job two.
time to clock in.
Time to clock in, be a coordinator.
Honey.
I at the time, because it was during COVID, and I was finishing school and everything, so I didn't have like a full-time job or anything at the time, which is part of why it was somewhat sustainable. But I think CB6, CB7 was right after I moved this way and was starting to like be applying for jobs and stuff like that post all of the COVID stuff. So that was another thing that caught up to me a lot. Was it was like, hey guys, the whole like full-time job thing was fun when it was like we were chasing something and I had the time, but I just don't anymore.
Yeah. What's the like Not that it matters. Well, I mean, I don't know. What's like the prize for like being first? Like, what's like the
Well,
reward?
it's first through 10th. The reward
Yeah.
for first is bragging rights. First through 10th is max rewards, so you'll get like 10,000
So
gems.
the big reason that we wanted to be first was because our rival clan, Scarlet, had been first every CB.
Okay.
So for us, it was kind of about, and like we were like cool. Like I knew the guy in charge at Scarlet and everything. We all talked a lot, so it was like a friendly thing. But it was also like, so only one clan had ever won before, so it was kind of fun to be like, I want to not only beat them, but also just be the second clan to have won.
Right.
But yeah, there's no specific reward. I wish there was. Pregun didn't really have like titles or anything like that at the time, but it would have been fun to have like a CB5 winner title or something like that.
Okay. So it's like the gems are just like the in-game currency, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Interesting.
So then when we say that the game's very free to play friendly, it's because it would just like hand you gems for
Sure.
everything.
Yeah.
They would, and gems, free pull, like you would get a lot of stuff basically. Now you could
If
obviously
you
get
were
unlucky,
frugal,
but
yeah. If you were frugal, you could play the game totally free to play for years and still have like a pretty competitively viable account. You
Sure.
won't be able to do everything, but you'll be able to do most things.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
where's the Yui Bats Aurora, fucking Sky Aurora meme? I need that real quick. It's like
Bro,
it's just a funny
fucking,
laugh. I love that meme so much. It's so funny.
it's such a good meme. It's like probably the best meme that ever came out of that community. And it's funny for me knowing that it's my fault. Because not that like I didn't make it happen or anything, but like the first domino into that whole thing happening was me um saying I didn't want to coordinate for Sky anymore. And there was obviously other people. Like there was definitely this thing where it was like the whole thing that brought a lot of the Sky like camaraderie together was wanting to get rank 1. And then once we did get rank 1, it was kind of like, oh, we just want to chill, but it's not exactly a game that you can just chill with as well.
No casuals allowed.
So I think after the first like couple attempts of like we just want to chill, we kind of realized like a lot of the people who didn't really care about pushing for top 10 still realized there was like, oh, you can't like do both in this current environment.
I don't know. I cannot find the pic. It's because Sky has so many channels that like probably don't exist anymore. That's
I
probably
lost
where the
all the spreadsheets or spreadsheet
no,
channels.
it's nothing to do with the.
No,
Oh
it's
no.
not a
Okay.
It's
spreadsheet.
not a spreadsheet. Where is it, dude? I can't find it. This is something I should have had saved. That's my own fault.
Lost the meme.
I lost the
Gone.
meme. I'm trying to just like look up Aurora in like different places, but there's only 5 results in Sky, which means every pre-con channel that could have ever existed is wiped off the face of the earth.
I think it's all archived.
I don't have the archives.
I'd have to go look through it. Yeah.
You could probably just type in Aurora, I would imagine. Like, if there's only 5 results in the actual, what's it called? It's like, surely there's else in there somewhere.
Oh god, if I try and do that, it gives me fucking waifu bot
That's
What?
tough.
results. This isn't gonna help. Fucking
There's
Bude.
Aurora. You could, like, I actually don't know what channel it would have ever been in, but there's probably, like, some way you could, like, not have specific channels, but I don't know. I don't know all the formatting for that shit. It's lost to time. It's probably actually in here somewhere in our group chat. We've probably talked about it before, and I just don't remember. But it's not. It's just not something you can
I'm
find.
sure we have. It's just the fucking Dragon Ball Fusion meme.
Yeah, where they fail fusion. Actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
the whole joke is it was Sky the top 10 clan mixing with
Yui
Yui Bats,
Bats.
which had just gotten top 10 beforehand and had always been kind of a fringe clan.
Mm.
And so it was like
We combined our
that was
best
not
members to make a worse clan.
yes.
Oh,
because
classic.
ultimately the problem was the best members were combined, but also they were
Less motivated.
less motivated, and they were like key members that made like a lot of things work that weren't part of that, right? So like Weewichu not joining was a big deal. Him not being in there because he was one of the guys that got us most of our team comps and everything, like the really good information that we would use.
Is there like a? It's probably. I feel like there has to be an obvious answer that I'm not thinking of, but is there like a most competitive like gotcha like?
What's the name of the fuck Grand Blue Fantasy?
That's, I have
I've
no
heard of
idea
that.
which gotchas are like competitive, but I know Grand
I
Blue
don't know.
Blue
I'm just
Fantasy is a
Fantasy
gacha that exists.
Grand Blue Fantasy is insane. Like compared to what we're talking about, it's so much worse.
Yeah, I've heard this one's like
Yeah,
a
I
lot of people are
I
competitive.
it's crazy some of the stuff I've heard about Grand Blue Fantasy. Um, because they'll do so the thing with Precon's little clan event, right, is there's a limit to how many hits you can do in a day. Each count gets 3 hits, right?
Okay.
Grand Blue Fantasy does not have a limit, which is the problem. So you could sit there on your account just continuously sending hits or whatever. I don't actually know how the Grand Blue Fantasy little like clan group event works,
Mm-hmm.
but you could just sit there sending fucking hits nonstop. And people do the entire time. And like there documents of people, getting sick and like physically unwell because they're just playing so much nonstop.
Yeah. When it gets to like physical, ailment or like physical damage, that's a little too much. Like the mental
Yeah,
stuff, like
like
whatever, but like if you're hurting yourself, I don't know. That's
I don't
crazy.
think in pre-con I don't remember us ever having anything like that. But I know of like hearing stories of people in Grand Blue having like negative health effects from playing the event and stuff like that because it was just like if you wanted to be top in that you would basically have to have like everyone playing nonstop.
Yeah, this is like kind of sad, but like I play Yu-Gi-Oh and like they have the online Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel thing and they like one of the Duelist Cup things that they host online like every few months. Uh they do it where it's like 72 hours long, like it goes on for 3 days and whoever has the most points at the end wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently one guy he like played so much and like obviously because of like sleep deprivation, maybe he wasn't eating, we don't know. But like he ended up passing away because of like just I mean, at least as far as we know, based on um, reports from Twitter and stuff from the guy's family, like he passed away because he like spent so much time like that weekend like playing like
Yep.
assuming with like no sleep and yeah other
No
stuff going
sleep,
on.
not like potentially eating stuff like
Yeah,
that.
um, it's sad. I don't know. I
Yeah, it's just
yeah
and it's like I don't know. It's tough and I'm sure there's other games that have this problem. Not necessarily as bad, but just in general, it's tough because it's like obviously you want to make the game so people can play the game, right?
yeah
But there are stuff like that where it's
But
like
like, yeah, I think with the Yu-Gi-Oh, if you,
how like predatory does, and that's part of
yeah,
the reason why Precon has started changing so much
mhm,
with its clan battle system, and I think Grand Blue has also started implementing changes
yeah,
for like stuff like that to try and make them less I don't want to use the word predatory because I don't necessarily think that's the intention in this case, but
mhm,
it is like people will go as far as you let them with stuff like that.
yeah,
I think is the
yeah.
problem, right?
I think there's kind of a limit, like especially for the Yu-Gi-Oh thing. Like, there's ways to like construct the because it's for such a short time, right? It's 3 days, so it's not like you're gaining that much like player retention or people gonna whale out for that specific thing. Um, and there's ways to like structure the ladder and like the competition to make it so that you don't have to grind, like you're not incentivized to grind that much. Um, I don't think you're losing sales or anything. So I don't know. It's kind of a slippery slope, I guess, with like arguing a certain way of like doing things as predatory because like at the end of the day, like you're also responsible for your own health, right? Like
Yes.
I don't know.
Well,
It's
that's what I'm
hard.
saying. I don't think that's
Yeah.
necessarily the intention. And gotcha games obviously are already a somewhat predatory
Yeah.
space
I mean,
with
yeah.
like the intentional things
Yeah.
that they do. So it is one of those things where it's like this isn't necessarily that, but it is like recognizing when it's going too far. And so like those companies, I say those companies, I'm pretty sure both of those games are games. Um realizing that it's like, oh, people are like actively having unhealthy lifestyles during this
Yeah.
event. How can we change it to make it at least like a little better while still not like ruining your game, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like for example, in Precon now, you can hit any of the bosses at any time instead of having to do them in order.
Right.
So I don't necessarily have to stay up to wait until I can hit boss 3, for example. I can just
Right.
go do my boss 3 hit whenever I have time during the day.
Yeah. That's better. That's way better. Yeah. Oh.
A little move away from the depression. I found this the Aurora Batley Alice while I was going through some of the old spreadsheets. Is that
Nice.
was Aurora the one we did combined, or is that Azure? Maybe that's why we can't find the meme.
I think Azure was the combined. Now that you say it and I think about it,
Yeah, because I think we like UEBet successfully got top 10. It's like, all right, guys, let's rebrand ourselves, and then
I
Aurora
think
got
you
like
guys
11th or some shit.
rebranded.
We got 11th like multiple times, which is extremely frustrating. But it'd be like that. It'd be like that. I still can't find the meme regardless. So God knows where it is, but it's somewhere out there.
Yeah, Azure is definitely the combined one.
Ugh.
Dude, gotchas. I don't know, man. I hear about all this,
I mean,
and it's just
gotchas
like,
are like very. It's difficult for me to get into one, but when I say what, but when I do, like I've literally only ever gotten into one, and that's
that
Precon.
reminds me
So
of that
shout out
meme.
Precon.
Like the most interesting man. Like, well, I don't usually do this, but when I do, it's Dos Equis. You know that meme? The most interesting man meme.
The Dos Equis, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You said it like that. That's why it just reminded me of that. I don't usually play gotcha games, but when I do, I go all in. Yeah. I just can't stand the like. I'm so like risk averse. I just like yeah, just the lottery
I
stuff.
mean,
Like, I'll,
it is
yeah,
it is objectively good not to play gotchas. However,
maybe yeah,
they can be fun, and
yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I get that. I get that. Yeah, it's weird. Even with like not real money, I've never enjoyed like it doesn't give me a thrill. I don't know. Like opening packs or
I
yeah.
love opening packs.
I'm
I
big
know.
on
Fucking
packs.
Everybody's
leave
into that. I just feel
leave
like
it
It's
to
crack to the
fucking
brain.
God, leave it to fucking Pokemon to be like, hey, we're gonna make another TCG, and
Oh
this
yeah,
time it's gonna be just opening packs on your phone, and that's it. That's like the whole thing. And guess what? I have that downloaded.
yeah. I
I've
haven't downloaded. I
opened a
haven't
lot
opened
of
it
packs.
yet.
I've opened an absurd amount of packs. We don't have to talk about it.
It's okay.
Also, gotcha. It's. I think the problem is, um, I've been around so many gotchas that I understand that like it is both gambling and then it's also like eventually I will get the thing that I want. And that's
Oh, they
two
have like the
there's like very
guaranteed
different yes, they do most games
pity. Is that what
generally
it's called?
have yeah, most gotcha games have
Yeah,
some form
yeah,
of
yeah. I
pity.
figured, yeah.
So like for example, in Fate FGO, you're guaranteed to get the focus unit after 330 pulls. Or 30 tenfolds.
Hmm.
For context though, if you were to do that entirely with um paid currency, and so you had none saved up, you did all 30 tenfolds with paid currency, I believe it's about like $500 to $600.
Jeez.
And that's like that number obviously can vary from game to game. Some games are cheaper, some are more expensive. Precon is a notably pretty cheap game. In terms of sparks. But that's just your context there.
Hmm. Yeah.
So like if I am willing to say I have $600 set aside and I need this unit or I want this unit, I can guarantee that I'll get it within that amount. But also sometimes you'll end up spending that whole amount, right?
Right. Well, yeah. I can't see. Oh, I actually do want to try the Pokemon TCG one. I actually did download that, but I haven't just have not opened it. But I actually low
I
key want
heard a
to try
lot
it.
of people really like that. I'm not gonna
Yeah, I've
download
heard.
it
I've
because I
heard.
don't really care for card games, but
Yeah.
It is really fun.
Just
And
want to
it's
try
I
it.
would say with the amount of free currencies that you can get, you can still get pretty good decks just off
That's what
of
I've
the
heard.
free
Yeah, it's
stuff.
not. It's not too bad. Yeah.
Like I don't think you have to spend money to be like competitive in that. You would only need to spend money if you were a crackhead like me and wanted to like try everything out or collect a lot of the cards. I mean, you're not collecting every card, obviously, because trading card games, s- stuff like that gets so exponentially expensive, right?
Right.
As you're chasing like one or two specific super rare cards, then it's like now you're looking at spending thousands plus on a single card.
Yeah. 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 Actually, I do kind of like that model though. That it's like you can get if you want to like just play it just to play. It's like you can get whatever cards, but just like if you want the higher rarity stuff, yeah, you can. I feel like that's like
The
fine.
game eventually will have trading enabled, and we don't know what trading's going to look like or what the restrictions are going to be, how all that's going to be. But it's also like we have so many friends who play it that's like if you started playing the game and you needed like a second Starmie card so you could finish your Starmie deck
Hmm.
and trading's enabled, we have plenty of excess cards within our friend group to be like, oh yeah, I got you.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. That that'd be cool. That's like an essential part of trading. You know, card games, right? Yeah, that makes sense.
The trading, yeah.
Yeah, the
The
trading
only
card game.
downside
Yeah.
is they didn't have trading enabled at launch,
Yeah.
and it's still not enabled. You still can't trade, but we know that eventually it will have trading capabilities. It sounds like it's going to be somewhat restricted.
Oh,
I
okay.
I think what's probably going to happen is they're going to release Booster Pack 2 and then probably enable trading with Booster Pack 1 and do it that way.
Okay.
So you can't trade the new cards, but you can trade the old cards. I
Right.
think that's what it's going to look like.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Oh well.
It's fun though.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
They're like fairly quick card games too.
Yeah. Does okay, it's like really random, but like that other Pokemon Gacha, Pokemon Masters, do people still play that, or is that like not a thing anymore? I forgot.
People definitely still play it, but
Yeah, it's not as
it
popular.
just wasn't really that fun. I don't think
Hmm.
the combat system is not my favorite.
Okay.
It just felt like a worse version of the Pokemon Go combat,
Yeah.
which is already kind of mid.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they added battling to Pokemon Go just so people had something to do, and so I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I respect that.
Dude, isn't Pokemon Go at like the Pokemon World Championships? Like that's a thing, right? Like that's like I'm not dreaming. Like
I think it is,
I'm like 99% sure. That's yeah. Okay.
but yeah, the whole draw with Masters is the same as like a lot of Gacha games, right? Um, the people who are gonna play it the most and the people who are gonna spend the most money are the collectors.
Yeah. Yeah. I know they have
But
like outfits for all the characters and like or like the skins or whatever. I've seen those. So yeah.
yeah, Masters never really felt like it had the like staying power if you weren't like a hardcore collector though, which
Oh
was
yeah.
kind of the problem.
Sure. Sure.
Because like FGO for example is entirely a collector game, right? You can get like 10 characters in the game probably and be able to clear any content if it's like the exact right 10.
Sure.
And the whole rest of the game is about collecting characters you like and then being able to use like all of those alternate characters to make certain lineups with ones that are your favorite, right? Like once you have enough
Hmm.
characters, especially the key characters, you can play with whoever you want in FGO.
Right.
It's just there are definitely like required characters
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
to really unlock the game.
Yeah. That's fair.
But at its heart, it's still a collector game. But because of the way it is, like if I have those key characters and I want to make my favorite character like really work, I could go look into team comps and look into stuff and be like, oh, I could make a team with like this, and this to make my favorite work as well.
Sure. Okay.
Masters doesn't really have like a system that's conducive to something like that. Um, it's just kind of a collector, and then like once you collect stuff, it's like, well, there are times where you can use it, but you can't just like always use your favorites. And there's no way to like really like power up your favorites so it's at the same level as other like really good things either.
Yeah.
Kind of in a different way, Precon was very much like a collector game, but in the same way, uh just collecting your favorite didn't necessarily mean you could use your favorite in a lot of cases. It was more specific to you have to have the right character to do the right things. So in that sense, Precon was a collector game because people wanted to collect stuff because it's all cute girls and everything, right? But it also didn't really have a system that made you encourage you to collect things. Because if my favorite character is Kurumi, for example, for the two people who know what character I'm referring to when I say that, not my favorite character, but as an example, she's fucking useless everywhere, and it's not really possible, no matter how many copies of her I get, no matter how much I upgrade her character, to really make her more than averagely useful anywhere. Whereas in FGO, if my favorite character was Orion, for example, the archer, um, I could make a team that uses an Orion, especially if I have multiple copies. Like I could definitely make a team that uses Orion well.
Yeah, that
Precon
makes sense.
definitely didn't lend well to collector stuff. There was some like very I can't remember if it might have been CB and the tower maybe, I don't remember. But I think Rem got some like extremely niche uses, like ReZero collab Rem, just like the most niche fucking shit ever. For like
The
very
ReZero characters were so funny. Rem was pretty good in PvP, if I remember too.
yeah, but you always had to be on the lookout for like very specific niche things when it came to those. But
Yeah, Fate. The thing with FGO, is getting dupes in FGO is so powerful. Which is, and we talk about predatory things in gacha games. I think one of the most predatory things a gacha game can do is really incentivize summoning multiple copies of a unit that is already extremely rare to pull, right? But even just getting 2 copies of a unit in FGO makes that unit so much better than it is as a single copy. So a lot of times what it would be is if you want to use your favorite character, get a second unit, get a third unit, right? And then it's like now this character is as strong as the top tier units basically. If you're comparing like 3 copies of this character versus 1 copy of that character.
it's a pretty
Whereas in
predatory system.
Precon getting copies definitely made it so you could max out your characters. But Precon, and especially because we were in like the high level community, it was like the characters that were really good, you already were basically had to max out the copies. Well, not the copies, but the shards.
Yeah. Alright. It's probably a good place to end the episode because I was scrolling through Twitter and I think it's listening to us because I got a Princess Connect fan art and I can't remember the last time I've seen that. So yeah, I got Kyaru
To be
and
fair,
Santa outfit.
you did just see all of the leak tweets talking about Precon.
That's
So it
different
could be
though.
listening to us.
That's
But
it's totally different.
yeah,
I mean, seeing the leaked Precon tweet, like that was gonna be on my timeline no matter what. Even if I didn't care about Princess Connect, that would be on my tweet. But this is a different matter. It just handed me fan art though. That means
Better
my
fan
phone
art,
is listening to me.
better fan art than whatever that freaking fake anime news account
Anime
is.
fart. Yeah.
Yeah, anime. There you go.
I
Better.
think NBA Centel is very funny, and I think
At least it's also kind of funny.
Ballsack
NBA
Yeah.
Sports,
Sentinel's
its
super funny.
predecessor, was also very funny. But anime news, dude, I don't give a fuck about anime fart or whatever the fuck. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's just cringe.
Yeah.
I think the problem is those two were funny, but now everyone's
Now
realized that they
everyone
were
wants a
funny,
fake
so
account.
everyone
Yeah.
wants to try to emulate that.
Like, I'll let WNBA Centel slide, but then we had, like, NFL Centel. Like, that's not even, like, the point. Like, you're missing the point, you know? Like, go make a fucking fake NFL account or something, rather than, like, an NFL Centel, you know? Like, that's just not how it goes. Everyone's trying to copy the original. But no one's as good as the original.
Yeah.
I don't know. So Centel was on a generational misinformation run. It's honestly impressive.
It's almost sad that now the majority of people have caught on to Centel.
Yeah, every now and then though, like you'll see, like I saw someone get sacked the other day. Like Ballsack Sports put something out. Like they don't do that much anymore, but they did something. Someone got, everyone's like, you got sacked in 2024. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what's going
I
on?
mean, it's like
here?
the intended purpose of Ballsack Sports. They like wanted to combat misinformation by spreading misinformation so hard, like to a point where people can't ignore it. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, misinformation is a problem in this world. Because when you got like ESPN First Take quoting Ballsack Sports for news, then you know the journalistic integrity is not at its highest right now. Anyway, the Gochuucast would never spread misinformation. We probably have at some point. I don't remember, but we didn't do it intentionally, and we
I
don't.
hope we didn't.
We
But then
don't.
I'm also like, surely we have, because we also talk about leaks and rumors and stuff like that.
Well, that's
And I'm
different
like,
from misinformation,
surely
right?
that is true.
They're all real.
If I
But I was
sat
just like,
here,
surely we've talked about at least one like leak / rumor, and we're just wrong.
I only look at like my reliable sources, you know. If though anything we spread misinformation about, it's probably just like general anime industry things that we're talking out of our ass of. Which normally anyway we
Yeah.
preface that we have no idea what we're talking about. So I don't think we've actually spread. We probably have. There's probably something very specific we spread misinformation about.
We've surely spread
but,
something.
Yes, but that's not the point. We're not going to spread any more misinformation in this episode. It's going to end right now. If you enjoyed this episode, like, comment, subscribe, rate 5 stars, all that good stuff, whatever platform you're on. If you're on the audio-only side of thing, and you like to go to the YouTube, then Is the Order an Anime Podcast? We are the only one. Same thing from YouTube to audio-only. We are the only one. Can't possibly miss us. Is the Order an Anime Podcast? Every Saturday, 3 p.m. EST, without fail, except for when we do, there will be a new episode out for you to enjoy. So, once again, thank you for listening, and we hope to see you in another episode. Goodbye.